And welcome back. We're joined now by senior White House correspondent Kelly Wright and Ben Cohen, senior analyst and rapid response director at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Gentlemen, I want to start this segment on the topic of Israel. On the Doha attack, Israel was targeting Hamas leaders, and now we're seeing some criticism about if that was the right choice, if it was the right time. Ben, how does it impact any potential peace deals going forward, and what do you see as the next step in that peace process?
Well, firstly, let me just address the context here, because it is true that Israel has been criticized for this attack in Qatar on the Hamas leaders. But let's not forget that Qatar, which is being presented by the United States and by most of the world as an honest broker, as a mediator with, altruistic intentions here, simply not true. Qatar is a repressive state. It is a human rights abusing state, and it is a state that has given succor and has given shelter to leaders of Hamas. These leaders that were targeted in the strike earlier this week should not have been in Qatar in the first place. They are, as we know here, Hamas is a designated terrorist organization, and so for a U.S. ally like Qatar to be harboring these people is really something quite shameful. Now, in terms of where we go from here, look, this war has now been raging for nearly 2 years, and I think Israel has had a number of successes in terms of decimating the Iranian proxies that have been attacking it. That obviously includes Hamas, but also Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen. Israel has been basically targeting these various tentacles of the Iranian regime that have been directed at it. I think now, obviously, we're on the cusp of a big operation in Gaza City, so the war could be well entering its decisive moment now, and I expect that Israel will be facing more criticism as the fighting goes on.
Yeah. Kelly, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is set to visit Israel next week before the UN meets in what could be some contentious debate about the future of the Middle East. Frame up the trip for us, Kelly, the goals, the hopes. What should we be watching for?
Well, look, I think you and Ben have already expressed it very well. That is one of the reasons why Secretary of State Marco Rubio is going to be going to Israel starting tomorrow. And what he has to do, he has to go there and speak to our strongest ally in the region about why it's problematic for them to have attacked another ally of the United States, which is Qatar. But to Ben's point, there are many people within the senior leadership of the Israeli administration who have always distrusted Qatar and its altruistic, quote unquote, approach to solving the crisis going on between Hamas as well as Israel as it pertains to Gaza on October 7th. There are many Israelis within Netanyahu's leadership who simply do not trust Qatar, and as a result of that, they have wanted to see Qatar expel Hamas leaders in order to get them to the table. And now, perhaps because of this action, criticisms notwithstanding, Qatar is actually considering, is this the right move for us to maintain a place or an alliance or a safe haven for Hamas leadership? Those are questions that will undoubtedly come up. And then the questions, of course, moving forward in terms of what do you do in solving the Hamas problem, getting rid of them, and at the same time providing an oasis for the Palestinian people to break through what's been going on since they've been under Hamas control.
Gentlemen, let's go ahead and shift gears now to Europe. News today that Poland is pushing back against President Trump, who suggested that, that Russian drone crossing into Polish airspace could have been a mistake. Poland, of course, is a member of NATO. Ben, is this a sign of escalation? How did you see that drone going over into Poland, and could we be on the verge of history here?
Well, look, I think it wasn't simply one drone. It was several drones that crossed into Polish airspace. And I think the uniform view among NATO states in Europe is that this was not an accident. This was not just drones accidentally straying into Polish airspace. This was This was a deliberate and calculated attack by the Russians, an attempt to rattle, if you will, the NATO's cage on its eastern flank. Look, I think periodically over this long war, you have had disagreements between Washington and European capitals over what to do next, and that obviously has become more pronounced since President Trump came into office. I think what needs to happen now is that the U.S. needs to
and if I can get in real quickly, Ben, if I can get in real quickly,
Gentlemen,
Jenna,
I'm so sorry. I'm actually getting the wrap here.
Very important. Very important. The president has stated that he's going to be tougher on Vladimir Putin and bring sanctions against him. He stated that this morning during his interview on Fox, that he will be going with a tougher stance against Putin.
Okay. Oh, gentlemen, I'm so sorry. We have to leave it there. Thank you so much. Kelly and Ben.